Welcome to this channel. I'm Rishita, and today I am here with absolute noble person, and he is my teacher. So this is gonna be our most awaited interview. So let's get started. So welcome, sir. Welcome to this channel, and I'm absolutely astonished and at the same time over the cloud nine to have you. Tell us about you.
Thank you for having me. Well, what do you want to know about me?
So first of all, we would like an introduction as our viewers don't know you, Mike.
Okay. I have been in this profession, teaching profession for last 36 years, and I'm associated with a higher secondary school. Plus, I teach spoken English as well, and she's one of my brilliant students.
So, sir, as we have so many beginners and they question me that how to learn so many British or American or Australian languages being in this Indian country, because everybody is speaking non-native languages and they might think that this pronunciation should be accurate, this accent is needed, and they might confuse that pronunciation and accent is similar and synonymous in nature. So, how did you learn this language? Because as far as I remember, in the early 90s, there were no Google and internet. Guys, can you imagine? So, at that scenario, I must say you have to just remember all the things. So, this won't be difficult for you?
Actually, a dictionary was my constant companion, and I used to consult the dictionary from time to time. Wherever I happened to get any word, I used to look up the word in the dictionary, and I tried my best to commit to memory all the words. Not all the words I could retain in my memory for quite a long stretch of time, but generally, because of the arduous practice, I started making sentences with new words that I had learned recently. And then I saw that I had a kind of penchant for speaking American English. In fact, an American guy happened to be my friend in those days. It is really very tough, as you have said, that way back in the 80s, 1980s, when I learned English, it was quite difficult for me to know firsthand how the American people speak.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to depend on a few American movies only, English movies. I used to watch those movies and I used to follow the pronunciation used in those movies. And coming back home, I used to practice also. Another thing I did, which I shall advise the beginners to do, get your own speech recorded. After that, listen to your own speech and see whether you like your speech or not. If you don't like your speech, be sure nobody will like your speech. Because first thing is that you have to enjoy your speech.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking English, if I do not enjoy speaking English, I should not expect others to enjoy that.
And it gets a little bit of monotonous.
Obviously, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I always lay emphasis on learning synonyms.
Yeah.
Because if you want to obtain the optimal fluency, you need to learn a lot of words. Otherwise, when you are speaking English, you may suddenly forget a certain word, and because of forgetting that word, you may have to fumble for words,
Yeah.
and your fluency may nosedive.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you speak English and if you use new words, especially synonyms, you will see that there is a constant flow of words and you don't get stuck anywhere.
Yes.
And that's why when I just teach my students, I always advise them to commit to memory as many synonyms as possible for each word.
Yeah. So, sir, what did the thing inspired you to learn this language? As we know that overnight or nothing can be happened. So, what did the particular thing that inspired that gives you the determination? You have to learn this language.
Well, that's a funny story. In fact, I was a student of a Bengali medium school, and once I was watching a cricket match on television. Way back in 1980s, the 1980s, television was a new concept, and so not in every house there was a television. Only the rich few people had the television set, and we generally used to go to those houses to watch the cricket matches. So I happened to be in the house of one of my neighbors, rich neighbors of course, who had a television, and there I was watching a cricket match, and there two other guys were also watching TV, and they were from English medium backgrounds,
Okay.
and for that reason they were speaking English. And now I saw that from time to time they were casting a glance at me and saying something. I understood that they were saying something about me very teasingly, but in fact, because of my ignorance of English, I failed to understand what they were saying. And as a result, I started hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I started being exasperated. But in fact, I had no way to take revenge, because if I charged them in Bengali, they would laugh loudly. Therefore, I didn't say anything. I simply left that spot midway through the game. It is not that I had watched the match entirely, but at the time I thought that it was impossible for me to withstand their insult anymore, and I left that spot. And when I was returning home, I had a kind of determination that I would learn this language somehow. And when I had learned this language, I would teach them a lesson in English. Therefore, my journey of learning English started. And in fact, in my house in those days, there was an English to Bengali dictionary. There is an 80-day dictionary. Some of you may know, if you have an old dictionary in your house, you will see there's an 80-day dictionary. And I had one dictionary in my house. I took that dictionary out, dusted it, because it had not been used for a long time, so it had collected dust. So I dusted it off, and then I started consulting the dictionary. First, I saw that I was at sea. I didn't know where to start even, because there was no guide. In fact, I started consulting the dictionary, and I saw there were many words. Almost all the words were unknown to me, and these meanings were written in Bengali. Therefore, it was easy for me to understand what those words meant. I made a notebook for those English words only. I used to collect random words from the dictionary and note down in the notebook, in the exercise book. And later on, when I found time, I memorized the words so that I would be able to at least understand what people were saying. But I didn't know grammar. As I didn't know grammar, I couldn't make sentences. And afterwards, my father was in fact fond of English. My father knew English to a great extent. So my father told me, advised me rather, to know grammar first, the English grammar. And for that reason, my father bought an English grammar, and that was Rain and Martin High School English Grammar. And now still I have that book. That's an old copy. And I started learning this. My father used to just give me a leg up. My father used to just explain different definitions, like what a noun was, what a verb was. I knew nothing. I didn't know parts of speech. My father started teaching me, and I also voraciously started learning. This way the journey started, and afterwards I took a vow that I would, it was an oath that I would speak English for 5 years without resorting to any other language. That was my promise to myself. And I sought God's help for that. I started speaking English. At the time, the friends, my friends, they were mostly Bengalis. They used to speak Bengali. So when they saw me answering their questions in English, they felt a little puzzled. What they started bullying me. They started ragging me rather. They thought that I had gone bonkers, and so I was using English words all the time. And then I saw that if I listen to just their teasing words, then of course it is impossible for me to learn this language.
Yeah.
I estranged myself from my friends, and I became alone in this whole world. Though I got plenty of help from my father, so I'm indebted to that man.
Sir, we know that practice is the key to success. So, you have shared that you have consulted a dictionary, a Bengali to English dictionary, and you have written those words, those new words in your exercise book. But only consulting a dictionary without practicing or without speaking, and you are telling that you are surrounding with your friends who speaks non-native languages. So how did you practice these languages?
Initially, actually, I started watching American movies, English movies rather. Whenever I saw that there was an English movie being screened at a hall, I used to go there. I used to watch that movie, and there, initially at the initial stage, I understood nothing, absolutely nothing. I kept sitting in the hall, and I saw that on certain occasions people were laughing. When people were laughing, I didn't understand why they were laughing, what they were laughing
Because you
for.
don't
I didn't
understand.
understand the language, but I didn't give up the attempt. I used to just go there. Gradually, I saw that I started understanding parts of their speech, not in the entire one. Some words, stray words, I understood, and that increased my interest, enhanced my interest, and I was a student of a very rural school. My school was at Nolpur,
Okay.
that is near Bauria. There's
Yeah.
a village. In those days, of course, it was a very remote village.
Mhm.
And there, we had a teacher of English at school who used to inspire me, who used to encourage me always that, yes, all right, why not? You can do. Don't think that others can, only the students of English medium backgrounds can speak English and Bengali medium students cannot speak English. Not like that. If you practice, you yourself can. And this way, I got a pep talk from him, and I used to listen to his advice. He advised me to read English newspapers. In those days, there was the popular newspaper, The Statesman. I bought the Statesman, and I used to buy one copy of the newspaper once a week only, not every day. And throughout the week, I used to read the newspaper like a textbook. And this way I saw that many words were there in that newspaper which I didn't understand. I collected those words, noted down those words in my exercise book, and I consulted the dictionary to know the meaning. This way my vocabulary started being rather fat. And so when I saw that I had collected quite a number of words, I had the guts to make sentences. Because by that time I had learned parts of speech,
Yeah. And
I had
confidence
learned
booster.
tense sequence, and then I saw that it was possible for me to make some sentences, though very weak sentences. It was not that my sentences were always grammatically correct, but I got the inspiration from my friends. Afterwards, at the initial stage, they did not help me. Afterwards, when they saw that I was able to speak to a certain extent, then they all came forward to assist me, to help me. They told them, all right, you speak English, we can't speak English, no problem, we can understand what you are saying, and we will answer the questions in Bengali or in Hindi, and you continue to speak English so that you can achieve the fluency that you want.
Yeah, so you have came to know that determination brought you success. So now I would like to know, sir, that some of our middle class family mothers are usually inspiring their kids to learn this language, because in this world, in this rat race of corporate sector, we need to learn this language for any kind of jobs. But students get very much what should I say, uninterested in this language. They think that what this sort of need to learn this language. If just to get a job, I don't want to get a job. I just want to do what a business for myself. But if even if you're doing a business, you need to know this language. So whenever I was in my college and I was trying to speak in English with my friends, they as well as bullied me as per your experience, and they told that no need, and they just tricked me and teasing me badly. So I didn't mind, and I was coming to this institute to learn this language, and my interest gradually boosted up. So I want to know that some tips, some sort of tips you would like to give the beginner or who are uninterested in this language, maybe inspired or
If you are uninterested in learning a certain language, it is quite out of the question for you to learn that. Even God cannot make you learn that language. God cannot teach you. The first thing is interest. And for that reason, just your teacher or the members of your family, they play very vital roles. Now, if in your family you have some exposure to English, you will see very automatically, very naturally, the interest in English starts growing. And if you remain detached from English and you have this type of mindset that what is the necessity of learning this language? It's pointless to learn this language. I don't think it is possible for you to learn this language at all. First thing is that you have to love that language. And when you love that, any language for that, I'm not talking about English only, even if you want to learn French, first thing is that you have to love that language. So when you see that you love a certain language, the hunger is there in you. You have the hunger for words. You have the hunger for different, say, constructions, English sentence construction, or any other language also sentence construction. Then you will see that you start making sentences, even if there are mistakes, you don't get deterred.
Yeah.
Because the people around you should not discourage you. If you speak wrong English, the people around you should not discourage you from speaking English. They should not say you are making so many mistakes, so we don't understand why you are speaking this language.
Nowadays,
Quit
people
speaking.
are getting so judgmental, and they judge you on the basis of their point of view. They are doing nothing, but if you are doing something and you are making mistake, they will judge you. So that is the problem. So that's why.
Judgmental, not only today. People have always been judgmental since the inception of creation. I think so. Because in our days also there were people who used to just criticize others, who used to just judge. If I made a single mistake, there were people who used to laugh.
Yeah.
Used to laugh at me
Yeah.
because of the mistake.
Making fun of.
Exactly. But I didn't feel discouraged. I thought that, okay, all right, today I'm making mistakes. After a certain length of time, I will be able to rectify my mistakes.
Yeah.
And this way I kept going. That's why I told you at the beginning
Yeah.
that love is necessary. If you
Yeah.
love a certain language, it is very important for you to love first thing. Then only you will see that it is easier for you to learn a certain language. Not only a language, even if you don't love mathematics, it's not possible for you to learn mathematics. So that's why I'm saying that if you see that you have the real sincerity, you have the real love for a certain thing, you must be successful in learning that
Yeah.
language.
But sir, children in their adolescence period, they get a home tutor, any sort of subject. But here we are particularly mentioning English. So I had a teacher in my adolescence period. He was coming to our house regularly and taught me English. So, but he was not properly know the applications of each words. So I mean the parts of speech, and at the same time he taught me tenses, and after that he was just I don't know, he was telling that I am the best teacher. I taught there, I taught in the school and as well as, but after that we find that he is completely liar. He didn't